It's your fault for watching. It's your fault for watching.
Your fault for listening. Science Monday. Next topic, why are white people mad? Part 1. Why are white people mad? Anybody? is that a they ain't got no reason to be mad? Collectively.
I wanna let anybody chime in before the white lady talks about why white people are afraid.
No. Why are they mad? Are you mixing up afraid or mad?
The ones with money or the ones without?
Well, my answer is that white people aren't actually angry. They are afraid. Those Proud Boys, all these white supremacists, being raised in white supremacy, it comes down to white fear. And the white fear is that eventually white people are going to be a minority. And they're going to be treated like we have treated other fucking people. It is because of our own inhumanity to others that we are afraid. And so when the topic of what we as white people have done to other people of color, white people get real defensive, especially generationally. They like to be like, no, that wasn't me. I didn't own slaves. And how do these other people even know that they're descendants of slaves?
Word. But you benefit from it.
That's real white people shit I hear in white circles because I'm white. And white people will let that shit slip to another white person in a way that in social diversity they would never speak.
Yeah, can I explain a little bit? Can I go with her?
Good.
Can I go there? All right.
Yep.
So it's all about I told the story about the black people. It was a whole bunch of black people. And then there were some albinos, okay? Considered them Irish because it's pretty close. The redhead, light skin, albino. All right. They went ahead and separated, and that's how white people was created. All right. Okay. So those people are the fear white people have is that they were totally wrong. And they just misconstrued someone saying something to them, and then now look at them. You know what I'm saying? They bombing people and taking over, and I'll lead the world. And it's like, dude, you guys are like 2. Everybody else is like 10, and we just being nice. You know? Everybody, we just being nice. Because y'all tripping, and we trying to let y'all calm down.
I don't really think they're afraid. I think they're just greedy.
So you think that? So wait. So are you saying that you think that maybe the greedy people are using the fear of the afraid people?
The greedy people. The greedy people are the ones that are the puppet masters that stir up the fear.
Right.
Of like, oh, your brown neighbor is going to take everything from you. Your brown neighbor is going to hook up with your daughters, things like that.
So then we go back to the
let her finish, Tony. Let her finish, Tony.
Okay.
Meanwhile, the greedy ones are collecting the money. They're collecting the fees for, the Aryan Nation and the Proud Boys. They're collecting the fees for their political interests. They're collecting the fees
the NRA
and the
people,
tithes for their
the
church.
political folks.
Yeah, right. So it's. I think they're just greedy. I think they're greedy. And the ones that are afraid are the ones without the money, and the ones without the power.
But think about it, though. You got to have some money to do an insurrection. You got to be able to fly across the country or drive across the country. That takes money and time, and who has a job for the whole year? And
I think that's the point that
exactly. You ain't got no money.
Carmela in New York.
I think that's the point that's being made is that the greed is power, and those folks are the ones that are taking the money and orchestrating things like the insurrection. Like, as much as they orchestrated a lot of travesties that have happened just in this country alone, they also use that money for marketing, for their propaganda, which goes out through through OAN, through idiots like Alex Jones, the Proud Boys, what have you, to instill fear in those white folks who don't have money.
Right, Rush Limbaugh, people like that. And so what happens is they have the same type of fear. So the same thing, like a black preacher or some of these, I saw a thing where somebody, Elaine Brown, was correcting some error, like some black folks were saying that the Mexicans were taking our jobs. And she just said, when was the last time you had a job? What job? You and Pookie been sitting on the couch since the 80s. She said, how you going to be?
She said, they're getting jobs that nobody wants.
Right. She said, how you going to be mad because Massa don't like you no more? She said, I'm not going to be arguing or fighting a Mexican over a piece of chicken. A piece, tiny piece of something, a job I didn't want in the first place that was dehumanized.
That's why I left California.
Exactly.
I'm not fighting no Mexican over a piece of chicken.
But the greedy ones are the ones that stir up that argument. They're the ones who market that. Right. They're the ones who hey, if you don't want that Mexican person to take your piece of chicken, or to take your moonshine, or to take your flag, or burn your flag, pay into this process where I can help market, and I'll be your governor, I'll be your mayor, and I'll give you power. And I mean, it even comes down to this argument over this raising the minimum wage. There's a lot of poor white people that don't want the minimum wage raised because they don't want brown people to get. They don't want brown people to get.
Exactly. When she's talking, Tony, when you talk over her, it covers her up completely.
I'm sorry. Can you turn me down at all, or?
No, I can't turn you down, but just mute yourself when she's talking, and it covers her up completely. But you're right. But so that's part of it. But they're just.
I'm co-signing.
They've been. I know you are, but it's when there's 5 people on the line. You gotta just either laugh. It's hard to co-sign with more than just co-signing in between their breaths like a rapper would when the lead rapper is taking a breath. It's like 2 words. Like when I did when I said to her, I don't know. I said like 2 things, right, real quick, but it was like in a breath. Okay, but anyway, this is really good. I mean, really enjoying this. I think this is an excellent first Science Monday show so far, because it is the science of, they're so unscientific, they can't see that, as George Carlin would say, the American dream, you have to be asleep to believe it, right? So they are so somehow they mix in their hatred of brown people, right? Their hatred of foreigners, their religious zealotry to be anti-abortion, their love of guns, which part of their fear stuff, and then you add in homeschooling, okay, and there ain't no way even to talk to some of these folks because you say certain words, and they've already been taught that those are trigger words to know not to listen to that person at all, right? So I on one of the first interviews we got here on Your Fault for Listening is I interviewed Rick Overton. I asked him. Rick Overton was best friends with Robin Williams. He was in Beverly Hills Cop, Groundhog's Day, Willow. He was on the Showtime show. I'm Dying Up Here, which is about comedians in the 80s. And I asked him, the first question I asked him was, what's the difference between white privilege and white supremacy? And he said, I guess it's in the application, there are fair-minded people and there are pharaoh-minded people. And the pharaoh-minded person will do anything to continue their addiction to comfort. They'll create armies. They'll create talk radio stations. I'm just adding that right now is what we're talking about, to create borders and armies and uninformed persons to carry their water. And then I asked him, how are people who think they're white weaponized against peaceful protesters? And he said, well, what do you bet they were homeschooled? He said, it might be okay to be homeschooled, right, if your parents are good, but if not, you got a dictator of information creating a violence bot.
Yeah, then when they go, then when they get picked up, they're taken out for like Burger King or whatever,
Exactly.
It's that same.
Yeah, that was a violence bot. Yeah, ain't that deep? Do you like the addiction to comfort analogy as well? Pharaoh-minded people and Pharaoh-minded people.
Yeah.
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 Okay, so
all I got to say, I don't know. Like I said, all I got to say is that some of the first Romans was black in the first place, and they created a lot of the system that everybody rolls on. And I still come back to the same thing. How awful were we?
They were black. Okay, so look.
Yeah.
Well, maybe if some of these white people today knew that, then maybe they would stop doing it. If they knew they were following along.
Well, see, that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing. My wife tells me time and time again how if I go to Europe, all the statues are bronze, they're not white, of Jesus, Mary, any of that. That everything, all the Bibles and stuff like that over there are bronze and stuff like that. They have nothing has the American version of the shit. It all is the original version in Europe. So if you get a chance to go to Europe and see some of the true culture, that might help.
Well, I think it depends on where. I've been to Europe, and I can tell you I've seen plenty of white depictions of Jesus and folks. But I think what you were talking about in terms of black Romans were the Etruscans. And yes, some systems that are in place are based on some of the things that came from the Romans as well as the Greeks and such. So yes, don't say it's all Europeans. A lot of these Europeans are worshiping white Jesus and other idols that are depicting, fair skin and.
It's been changed. I said it's been changed like everything's been changed. What are you talking about?
Continue, Carmela.
I'm sorry.
But I think
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But I think we need to be clear that it's not like you go to Europe and all this stuff is what we're not. It's not like that. We have to remind ourselves that the I want a word other stronger than colonializing America was coming from white folks in Europe, bringing that shit over here to eradicate indigenous people and then to use black and brown people as commodities. So let's not give Europe so much credit, because that's not the fact. I just want to make sure that we're clear on that.
I wasn't saying that I was giving them credit. I'm saying that the original Europe was just a parcel of Africa that broke off, contained some of the strongest black leaders, educated people, like the Romans and stuff like that, before what you see as what America has depicted as the Greeks and the Romans and stuff like that. The original, okay, we're Africans just like you and me, or not. But I'm just saying that I'm not saying that they started doing the radical stuff that is coming about now. Okay, like I said, the Roman Catholic Church has all the information, and then they run stuff. Okay,
Tony, I'm gonna make you listen to this shit later on. Okay, because let me see how to say this. When she said the Tuscans or whatever the name of the people,
Etruscans.
Etruscans. See, okay, good. All right. So I never heard of that. I wanted to hear about the Etruscans, but I don't know how any of this is helping us. Talking about black people originated whatever, but we're 700 years from that, 900 years from that, 1,000, 2,000, 2,500 years from that. Why are white people mad today? Because they ain't mad because some African did something 2,500 years ago. They're mad because of what they were taught in their lifetime.
They're mad because they bought into revisionist history. They were made to buy into revisionist history because a lot of
now you're agreeing with Tony.
Money. Well, no. I'm saying there is such a thing as revisionist history. I mean, this is what we were taught in school through revisionist history.
History. You don't have to agree with shit. It's history.
What I'm saying is that the stories that we are told, especially in schools or in our churches or whatever, they have been. It's like a game of telephone, right? I start the message, and by the time it gets to the 1,000th person, the message doesn't match.
Right.
That's why
you're right. You're right. That's a very good analogy, Carmela. That's a very good analogy, right? So the Bible starts out with whoever the people that are in this book, and whatever this book says, and by the time King James gets a virgin, King James makes a version.
Gets a version, yeah, that's pretty close.
And then the Goodwill version of the Bible, and you go on down, and then whatever happened at whatever meeting they had in 1541 that Robert Greene Ingersoll talks about. And then today, you got it to where they've changed the word slave to servant, and they've taken so in the Bible, when you look at like the old version of it, the word unicorn is in there 9 times, and the word dragon is in there 18 times. Okay, so somebody might say, well, unicorn was really like some kind of goat, but they can't explain dragon away like that, right? Because your book got dragon.
Hold on. They took out dragon, and they left virgin birth.
Yes, exactly. They left hiking on water in there.
Huh.
Right? They left a lot of things in there.
Dragons are way cooler.
They took the dragons out. They left in the virgin birth. They left in the part where if you are a slave, you got to stay being a slave, or there's reasons and rules to slavery. That include blaming the slave. Yeah, they got rules for raping women.
Greed and power.
Blame the
rapist.
They left in all
everything that you read. Everything that you read about slavery.
Tony, Jen is talking.
Let me.
They left in all the things that breed greed and power, and ways to, basically turning it into an instruction manual on how to overpower people, how to colonize people, how to use people, how to kill people,
And the validity for it, or reasoning for it, or excuse for it, or justification for it, or glory even for it.
Right. And it all ties to money and power. Nothing broke the black community more than slavery, but at the same time, how did we continue to be enslaved to this day? Because of that book. It was beat into us. We were told.
Well, can I say something?
Go for it.
Well, wait till she finishes. You were told what? Jen?
No, we were given that book. We were told that the master was supposed to be collecting his riches on earth and in heaven, and then we're supposed to be in heaven being enslaved by them. But we're in heaven.
Right.
Still. Don't look for your riches on earth. Store up your treasures in heaven. When you die, that's when you're rewarded. And many of our folks still feel this way.
Well, think about during slavery times. Like, slavery went on for 250 years or so, whatever the number is. But if you're in the middle of that, it must have felt, and that your whole existence felt like there was no chance to get out of it. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
What type of lizards are we chained up under? Tony, go ahead, Tony.
Oh shit! I get to say something.
Well, look, what I'm telling you is, I don't know how somehow you started talking like when Jim was talking, and he did it during Carmela, and this is not like a chastising thing, but I'm just saying, you couldn't hear them talking, I'm assuming.
I could hear them talking, and I was mostly agreeing with them, and I was trying to explain footnote. That's all I'm talking about. And I'm trying to footnote some of the stuff that they're talking about. And
we just wanted to complete our thoughts, that's all. You know?
Yeah,
Exactly.
I hear. Well, by the time you complete your thoughts, we on a different totally.
I know, but you gotta just wait. You have to wait because otherwise, so just so you know, Carmela and Jen both have come on the show 100 times.
100. Okay.
Yeah, they came on Funny to the Moon 100 times.
Don't understand the system.
Right. I'm just saying, yeah. So, one of the, this is the thing. So, what kind of math would a hoe have had to do during slavery time? There'd be almost no way to have that kind of hoe math, because if somebody could just make new slaves, and I don't see how, hoe math used to be, here, let me start over again here. Let's try this. Try another angle on hoe math. What kind of hoe math is being done during arranged marriages? You know what I mean? Right?
Is this question for me?
Yes, it is.
Like, were you arranged? Are you arranged?
I mean, so this pisses everybody off when I say it, but fuck it. I include marriage as a doctrine of slavery. It's why I refuse to participate in the contractual agreement. It really doesn't have a whole lot other to do, like taxes are not a great example for me. There's no equivocal math. In slavery times, I imagine women had to look at men with that, like, are you healthy enough to stay alive? Because if you widow me, I'm broke. I no longer own anything, so I guess I have to go be a whore. Or I have to find a new husband who will hopefully now take me and my children. The survival concept for looking for a mate was still relevant during those times, and I imagine a man's worth probably included how many slaves he owned. I'm sure that was a choice for white women of some classes.
It's your fault for watching. It's your fault for watching. Don't even try to cancel us, because it's your fault for watching. That's right. Your fault for watching. Your fault for listening. Subscribe. Hit the thumbs up button. Throw a comment. In the downstream, let us know what you think about what we said. We're doing this for you.